After using MicroMaster parts in my HMS hood build, it got me thinking about how 3D printing is changing our hobby. When it came to components like the anti-aircraft guns, it kind of felt like cheating. What would in the past have been many hours of intricate construction was reduced to removing a fully formed AA gun from its printing base. Despite the benefits of 3D printing, I feel conflicted about it. This is partly the reason why I decided to purchase this kit, which is almost fully 3D printed. I want to find out if it is any different to an injection molded kit. The first difference is that the kit is a lot more expensive. An injection molded 1 in 350 scale Flower Class Corvette kit costs around $18, and a detail upgrade kit for it adds $35 for a total of $53. This Black Cat model's HMCS Snowberry costs $102, so not cheap. For context, that is the approximate price of Trumpeter 1 in 350 scale battleship kits. Let's take a look at the kit. The first thing to note is that the hull is not 3D printed. It's a resin molded component. It is a good quality mold, all the details are very crisp and clean, there's some good detail on the deck and the lower level of the superstructure. However, there are some minor defects around these openings on the stern. As you can see, they are partially closed and obstructed. I don't think that will be very difficult to remove. Other than that, the molding of the hull looks pretty much perfect, so I'm happy with that. Almost all of the details that are then installed on this resin hull are 3D printed. They come in what Black Cat Models calls bars. Bars are similar to sprues in an injection molded kit, albeit smaller and with smaller components. The first pack has 4 bars. The first bar has vents, depth charges, and some anti-aircraft guns. The second bar has more vents and the rudder. The third bar has various deck fixtures and hatches and ammunition lockers. The fourth bar has more depth charges, possibly the launchers for the depth charges, and I think those are searchlights. The second pack contains 6 bars. The first bar has yet more anti-aircraft guns, some hatches or potentially ammo boxes, and part of the superstructure. The second bar contains 2 life rafts. The third bar contains some racks and more ammunition lockers. The fourth bar contains what looks like the mechanism that will drop depth charges to those gaps in the stern. Then the fifth bar has the guns. And the sixth bar has more of the superstructure, cables, spools, and carly floats. The third pack contains only one component. This is the upper superstructure and bridge. In a little bag there are 2 more components, the funnel with the ladder molded directly to it, and rivets and panels. You can see it's very detailed straight out of the box. You don't even need to attach a photo etch ladder. It is literally printed in place for you. So that's going to make that a bit easier. Some more cheating happening here. And then a platform for its main gun, I believe. This kit also comes with a small photo etch fret. It's mostly handrails, which isn't too surprising considering this is a 3D printed kit. There are also a few ladders and other components that I think will go on the main mast. Then there are some brass parts. This is the main mast, and I think various booms and structures that are attached to the main mast. Finally, there is a decal sheet. The decal sheet clearly contains decals for multiple ships in the Flower class. Obviously, I will only use the decals that are necessary to construct HMCS Snowberry. Black Cat Models has also provided a nice instruction manual. It seems to be very detailed and looks quite easy to follow. My first impression after looking at this kit is that it is very detailed and doesn't need a detail upgrade kit, which is good considering how expensive this kit is for its size. I also have a better understanding of where 3D printing is used. Perhaps naively, I was expecting everything to be 3D printed, including the hull. I suppose it would be a massive waste of time and a large increase in cost to 3D print something with relatively low detail for its size. A resin mold gives you all the details at a fraction of the cost of 3D printing. The switch to 3D printing occurs when the parts become unsuitable for molding due to their shape or a need for a high level of detail. The 3D printed parts are fully formed, that is, you remove them from their base and glue them to the resin deck and lower superstructure. Before looking at this kit, I had wondered if the manufacturer would artificially create components for you to glue together like a puzzle instead of just fully 3D printing the whole ship. I don't think that is happening here. When a 3D printed component is attached to a resin component, it has to be that way. After all, they couldn't have 3D printed it directly onto the resin component. In the locations where 3D printed components are attached to 3D printed components, I think they could have printed it as one piece, but they didn't for possibly 3 reasons. Firstly, it would make the design of the kit more complicated. I suspect they have an inventory of common components that they can import to create a bar for whatever kit they are designing. This means they don't have to worry about different orientations for the part and then figuring out how to support that part during printing. It is the same part and the same orientation on the same base copied and pasted between kits. Secondly, the larger the print, the higher the chance that something will go wrong during the printing process. Breaking it into multiple smaller parts reduces the cost of a failed print. The third possible reason is that they might be accommodating those of us who like to paint as we build. I know from the MicroMaster boats that I used in my HMS hood build that painting fully formed and highly detailed parts is a pain. If making painting easier is one of the reasons for these small components, I appreciate it. From what I've seen in this kit, I think it's unlikely that we will see many 3D printed kits that require limited construction and only really painting. It would simply not be a practical design for a kit. I'm now interested in finding out what it'll be like to build this kit, but that's going to have to wait, and that could be quite a long wait. My next build will be a Type 7 U-boat, then USS Alabama, then possibly this kit. If you don't want to wait for the scheduled release of videos and want to watch them when they're uploaded, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. If you would like to support the channel, like and subscribe. And as always, questions are welcome in the comments. Thank you for watching. Cheers.